Hello and welcome to the 2020 Virtual Forum for Excellence this year. Welcome to this session we have for you today, Recruitment and Communication Strategies Proven to Work for Community Colleges, with our presenter today, Dora Welker. My name is Kirsten Bayer and I will be the moderator for today's session for the forum. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Dora to start her presentation. Dora?
Well, thank you. I am a consultant with the Illinois Community College Board, and today I am going to cover the strategies that we pulled out of interviews on recruitment and communication strategies proven to work for community colleges. During this presentation, I will cover acknowledgements, the overview, timeline, review of brief, CTE success stories, resources, and contact information. First of all, I want to acknowledge a number of people. I want to acknowledge Whitney Thompson from the Illinois Community College Board, Amy Julian and Martha Smith from the Illinois Center for Specialized Professional Support. They have contributed to the brief on the recruitment strategies by providing suggestions and editing during the development of the brief. I also want to acknowledge the community colleges and representatives that were part of the interviews. They took time out of their day to interview with me on their recruitment strategies as well as their communication strategies. We want to recognize the city colleges of Chicago, Malcolm X College, Roy Walker, Danville Area College, Laura Williams, Harper College, Joanne Ivory, Illinois Central College, Rita Alley, Rend Lake College, Christina Shelton, and Southwestern Illinois College, Bradley Sparks. I just want a big thank you to them. They contributed significantly to the brief. Next, I'm going to go over an overview of why we were even working on a brief. First of all, Illinois has experienced declining enrollment at community colleges, including career and technical education. This is problematic because we do have skill shortages in healthcare, information technology, and manufacturing. We also have stigmas and misconceptions about career and technical education, which prohibits students from entering into our programs. Colleges really need to rethink the ways to communicate and provide outreach to potential students. So this brief exemplifies selected strategies for recruitment and communication proven to be effective in enrolling students. I want to cover the timeline of the project. In April, we identified community colleges, and then in May and June, we conducted the interviews with those community colleges. July, we drafted a brief, and in August, we started working on a format for the brief. In September, here we are presenting our findings. Review of the brief. First of all, when we're talking about strategies for recruitment and communication, there are a lot of strategies, and you have probably utilize a lot of different types of strategies when you're recruiting potential students. What's interesting about it is you do have to implement simultaneously. You need a plan in place and you need to have everything working together. And persistence is key. You have to work your plan. And let's say that 3 years in a row, one recruitment strategy worked really well, but then the next year it didn't. That doesn't mean that it's not going to work again the following year or even a few months. It just means you have to rethink, assess what went wrong on that particular recruiting strategy, and persistence is key. Another piece to keep in mind is no matter the age of the student, and particularly our non-traditional students that come to the community college, as well as our students coming from the secondary system, we want to make sure that we are kind and relatable to them because they all want to be successful. One of the strategies that came out of the brief was connect with current and potential students. A personal connection is really key. Students need to know what services are available to them. And you have to be really relatable to them and let them know that you're going to help them overcome any challenges that are presenting them at that time when they're trying to enroll that will pay off for your enrollment. Activities that you could use: email students enrolled last semester, sending letters to students enrolled last semester, and you could include in either of these about your programs or about the events that you're having. Calling students enrolled last semester is a wonderful way to be in touch with the student. You can talk with them and then you can ask them what they're doing and then find out what it's going to take to get them to get into your particular program. Invite potential students to events. There are students that access your website, maybe ask for information, reach out to them. Sometimes they just need a little bit of encouragement, and that's all it takes to get them to come to the program. Follow up with students that attend events. You can do this a variety of ways: email, send letters, Twitter, Facebook, a lot of different ways that you can follow up with students. Get students on campus. Students have to feel comfortable with the community college and the programs. Some events that you could host to get them to your community college, you can start early. Have career events for elementary, middle, and high school students. Manufacturing Day is another event, and that could be around any of the areas of any programs that you have. On Manufacturing Day, you can have tours of the program. You could have booths set up, talk about various careers that you have in manufacturing, as well as visiting on-site manufacturers so they get an idea of what's in that particular industry. Information sessions, whether it's the whole career and technical education division or it's all just your program that you're having information sessions for. And then competitions for programs is a really neat way to get students involved. Get them on campus, have awards, and you might even put some incentives in there in the top levels that they get a reduced tuition fee. Reach out to high schools is another strategy. Students may not be able to attend your events at the community college, so you have to reach out to them. They have to know about your program, and they have to be able to access the information about your program. So here are some activities that you may want to consider. Now, post-secondary faculty want students enrolled into the programs. However, they may not feel very comfortable in recruiting, so training and mentoring your post-secondary faculty is key. At the high school, you could provide information sessions, career events, and one really nice idea that some community colleges brought up is have advisors register students at the high school and then make a big deal out of it. Take their pictures, put it in the newspaper, just really advertise about it. And you can also see about having CT staff as advisors. Faculty relationships between post-secondary and secondary are key. That secondary faculty member needs to be able to know about your program, what's going on with the program, what industries are hiring from your program, what services are available to the students so they can help talk up the program and help recruit for you. The same goes for educating the counselors. They need to know everything about the program too and all the services available. Articulation, dual credit, and dual enrollment should all be in place. This just really incentivizes that secondary student gain over to the post-secondary side and gain into your program. It shortens the program length for the student as well as saves financially for the student. If you can build a certificate/credential at the secondary side so they have that prior to leaving high school, that's just another incentive, and it shortens the time for the program and getting them out into the workforce. And another strategy is to collaborate with your Education for Employment regional delivery systems. This is the system that works with current technical education programs at all the high schools within the region. And they are working to transition the secondary students to post-secondary in their career paths. So they have a wealth of knowledge and they have a lot of activities already going, and just another way to help recruit students to come into your program. Another strategy is engage business, industry, and labor. Students need to see employment opportunities. They want to go into a program where they know that when they are finished, they're going to be employable. So it's really important that you show and talk about how the employers are hiring your students. The employers can also engage in helping reach non-traditional students. They can talk about hiring as well as creating apprenticeships, and they could refer students to your programs. They may have employees that need additional skills, so you could help them get those skills so they can move up to the next level. And they can also provide resources, whether it's uniforms, it's equipment, maybe it's just some financial assistance. Next strategy is build your network, collaborate with community organizations and agencies. Your network isn't going to build itself, so you have to work hard at building it. Be at the table with community leaders, present at meetings, and be present there. Make sure that you're there and you create that beneficial relationship. And while you're sitting there and you're talking and you're hearing about what's going on, you may hear about events where you could present. You could hear about events where you might want to have a table, or there may be some other ideas that come about that those particular relationships will lead to additional recruitment activities. Some of the community organizations and agencies that you could be involved with are faith-based organizations, not-for-profit, economic development, housing authority, public aid, Rotary, etc. Working with the organization really provides the ability to target your populations, whether you're targeting poverty, the underrepresented, the mobile first-generation students, those without high school diploma, women, veterans, ex-offenders, etc. And students, particularly the non-traditional students, need additional support to ensure equity for success. So some of the assistance that these community organizations and agencies may be able to provide is, let's say that you're going to have an event and it's an open house, and they could put that information in their mailings. They could put the information in the billings, like for the water department. They could put about your orientation session, about the program, about maybe a student success story. Again, you could have tables at the events. And you could create formal agreements with the organization or the agency, lay out what will be provided, assisting with getting the word out about information session regarding programs and the support that will provide for the student while they're taking classes. And some of the support that community organization agencies might be able to provide range from housing, shelter, food, childcare, mentoring, transportation, laptops, hotspots, because not everybody in that's working with these community organizations, they're getting assistance from them, their clients. They need more assistance in order to be successful sometimes. They may not have the finances, they have the transportation to get to programs, so maybe the program needs to come to them. Review of the brief also or out to join forces with communications and media is another strategy. Students need to know about programs. They need to see themselves in the programs. If it's a male-dominated industry, female needs to see themselves in it, as well as if it's a female-dominated industry, males need to see themselves in it. or if there's disabilities, that they can be successful in the program. You have to work with your internal marketing department to get those images of what you want to share about your program. And many ways to share program information. You have the website, brochures, digital, social media, television, radio, billboards, and newspapers. And with television, radio, and newspapers, they're always looking for stories. Success stories of your students would be good to work with them. If you want to just talk about your program, see if you can get on the radio in your community and see if you could have a spot maybe once a month and just talk about your program and what's happening with it. Maybe what employers are doing to assist, or how they've hired your students in that particular program. Just a lot of different things you could do with the media. Another strategy when we're reviewing the brief is highlight flexible delivery of programs and support services. Students need to be able to take programs while working and caring for a family. All the students are not just coming straight from the secondary side and can live at home with their parents. And students need to know that you have the very best interest in mind, that you're going to help them succeed, and they know what services are being able to be provided for them so they can succeed in going through the program. But some things they may need are flexible delivery, online classes, classes at a variety of times, distance learning, programs offered where the targeted population resides, or even offer some short-term programs, maybe 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 16 weeks, or offering programs for those without diplomas. You work with your adult education and they can work on their GED and take their career in technical education courses at the same time, so they can get their GED and then they're a step ahead in their career path for whatever they want to do, and they have some credits in career technical education already. Lots of support will need to be given, whether it's advisement and counseling, career and employment assistance, or financial assistance. And then a lot of other services such as disability services, tutoring, remediation. I'm sure we don't have all the services that all your community colleges provide and listed here, but these are some of the key ones that they will need to have in order to be successful in the program. Now, I've covered so far, I've reviewed the brief of the strategies that came out and a lot of the activities that community colleges are doing and have been proven to work for recruitment and communication. But one other question that we asked was recruiting during the pandemic. How do you recruit during a pandemic? And what we found was the recruitment strategies mentioned are virtual now. They're on campus, they're visiting high schools, tours of programs and businesses are all virtual. The personal connection is even more important with your students. You have to have, as one of the community colleges said, high touch. You have to be, they have to know that you care. You can't just talk to them just in class. You have to make a special effort and make sure that they know that you're interested in them. What can you do to help them to be successful? Particularly if you don't see them, you have to be able to reach out to them and find what services they might be needing. And the following are a few ways community colleges are adjusting to the new normal. Of course, online as well as hybrid classes. They're providing the technology and hotspots for students because, as I mentioned before, technology may not be available to many of the students, and so they need that, and they also need hotspots so they can connect to the internet so they can participate in the program. Online support services are key right now. You can't expect them to come into the office because they're off campus and they're taking everything online, so they need to have some support services. You can do your orientation sessions and tours virtually. Again, it was mentioned, call potential and current students, a great way to interact with them and find out what they need in order to be successful or in order to just get them into the program. Social and traditional media to reach potential students, as well as partnering with those community organizations and developing those agreements so you know what the organization can do and what you can do for the students so they can meet the career goal. Now, we've covered the strategies, and we've also talked about strategies when you're in a pandemic. But successful recruitment also requires that you collect data. Collecting data on recruiting efforts assists in getting the results. And you can measure enrollment trends, student headcount, and credit hours each year, but you really have to start setting specific targets for recruitment activities. You should have a plan in place with some measures. So I give an example here. If your target's not being met for an activity, make sure there's time to implement additional strategies. So example, if you have a target of 10 students in 3 different high schools and you're having an open house, you want them to attend. The responses should be monitored. And if you received at least 10 from 2 of the high schools and none from the 3rd, then you have to think, okay, why haven't I gotten any responses from the 3rd high school? So it's time to interview with additional recruitment strategies, probably calling the secondary faculty as well as the counselors to find out, do the students even know about your open house, what's happened here, and try to see what you can do to get your target measure met. And successful recruitment and communication strategies make sure that all your activities, incentives, and partners work together. That is the key to making everything successful for your recruitment. And the goal is really to assist students obtain education and skills that enter their chosen career field. Now we've covered recruitment strategies, talk about the pandemic, and we talked about collecting data. We talked briefly in some of the areas about student success stories, and it's just key because students want to be able to see, potential students in particular, students like themselves that have been successful. And they don't want to hear about somebody 3 states away. They want to hear about what's happening in their community if they attended that program and what could be possible for them. So with student success stories, the new Strengthening Career and Technical Education Act, or Perkins 5, really gave the opportunity for states to kind of rethink career and tech ed. And so Illinois engaged in a rebranding effort. And you see part of that effort is what we've done with the brief and laying out recruitment and communication strategies. But the Illinois Community College Board, CTE Division, requested community colleges submit CTE student success stories, and we did receive 13 community colleges that submitted 33 CTE student success stories. The stories right now are being compiled into a single branded collection. And what we're going to do with that collection is share it with policymakers and the public throughout the state. And then community colleges can also share it with their own area and whoever they'd like to. But the goal is really to raise awareness of the necessity of CTE and the boundless opportunities that we have in our system. So now I wanted to talk about where. You're probably thinking about, well, I'd like to see that brief. And you might be thinking about, I'd really like to see the CTE student success stories. Well, they will be available at the Illinois Center for Specialized Professional Support website in the near future. They're not there yet, but they will be available. And let's just say that you get home and you're thinking about some of these strategies and you had some questions on them. You can always contact me at the address listed here. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your conference.
All right, thank you, Dora, and thank you everyone for attending this session.